Britt, your host, and it's my distinct honor to welcome to the studio Missouri Class II Boys State Track Champions, the Charleston Blue Jays. Joining me are Coach Justin Hutchings and Assistant Coach Aaron Harlan. Congratulations, guys, on your great season and your state championship.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to our show. Welcome to the studio. We're glad to have you here. So first, tell us a little bit about yourself, Coach.
My name's Justin Hutchings. I've been in Charleston 12 years now. Been coaching track for 8 years. I've been the head coach for 6 years. Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. And then I've been coaching football my whole time there. And just recently was named the head football coach in 2019. So I've been in Charleston for quite some time now.
Excellent, excellent. Coach, how about you?
Yeah, I'm Aaron Harlan. I've coached 8 years track at Charleston. Done basketball for 7 years, so been varsity for 7 years. And I've been at Charleston my whole career.
Excellent. All right. So tell me what it takes to put together a successful track team and a successful track season.
Well, you got to have the dudes.
Sure.
To do it. We went around and in the off seasons we've looked at numerous ways to improve our numbers, so we can get the most kids out to do the most things. And it's funny I say that, and we brought 6 kids to state. But this year we had 50 kids come out for track, and it's just me and him coaching. And the reason why is because those seniors that were talking to you, they spread the word. They talk about how fun it is and how we make it fun, and just how great of a time it is at meets, and how fun state is when you go to state. And that just infectious nature of those guys really brought out so many different people that I didn't think we would be able to have, and they've really helped us push us to the success that we just had recently.
And you've coached these guys for several years, some of them all the way through high school. How have they changed and matured over the years, especially your seniors that kind of took over as leaders this year?
Well, there's a funny story with that. So, like they said, they didn't get to run their freshman year. COVID hit.
Right.
Sophomore year, we took our relay group to state, and at that time, you didn't have to run prelims.
Okay.
It was just 2 finals. And we missed all state by 0.01 seconds. And they all looked at me and they said, hey, we're coming back sometime and we're going to be on that podium. I don't know if they're going to be champions at that time, but as we progressed through those years, those guys, I don't think have ever missed, those seniors have never missed a track practice. They go get guys that do miss track practices. They are, if some kid's slacking in practice, they're telling them to get going because they know the opportunity that they have in front of them, and they know that you can miss out by 0.01 second.
Mm-hmm.
And then look at them this year. They're the state champs. So it's really cool to watch them grow and mature, and is just great.
Yeah, we wouldn't have won state without that senior leadership this year, because we had 2 freshmen on our relays, a sophomore. So we had a lot of young guys who, kind of like they talked about, they didn't understand to finish through, because that 0.01 second matters in everything. So they were constantly encouraging them kids, and they helped us out a lot throughout the season.
Well, track's a little different than a lot of sports. I mean, you do basketball, you do football. It's really a bunch of individual events that scores points for the whole team. So tell us how that kind of works.
So normally it's scored 1 through 8. First is 10, then it goes 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Obviously, you want to try to get the most points you can. Once you start hitting those lower places, you start lessening the points from the top three. Obviously, top three separated by 2 points, and it's only by 1 in the last couple. But it's hard to explain to the kids until we win a meet or something like that, and they wonder why, and then we have to explain to them. Track is a really hard concept to understand. I mean, we've been back home, and people kind of don't understand that you won a track state championship. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
It's just one of those things that you can win a team track state. And and then I have to explain it to them and how like the races work and how we scored points here and missed points here. It's just really, it's a really cool sport that I was thankful to be brought into, because I never thought of myself as a track coach a long time ago. And I mean, look at us now, so.
The cool thing about this team, you took 6 guys up there, and you needed every one of them to point.
Yeah.
And every one of them scored points, which means that every young man you took with you finished in the top 8 in their event.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's medaling, that's all state, that's pretty impressive that every person that you took ended up, at least in one of their events, finishing in the top 8. Every one of them is important, because if one of them had not gotten those points or gotten as many points as they did, and I know a couple of them it took maybe to the last jump or last couple of jumps to move to where they got, you wouldn't have won a state championship. So tell us how each person is important to the team.
I'm going to let Aaron talk about that one, because without Aaron, I mean, he's the numbers guy, he's the strategic guy with track, and I kind of just tell them to run fast, and he's like, hey, we need to do this, this, and this. And he'll tell you all about the stuff that he did leading up to state for it.
Yeah, so I guess it started about probably a quarter way through the season. On Mobile, they track everyone's progress on there. And, we knew we were the fastest relays in 4x1 and 4x2, and we were up by like 2-3 seconds on the 4x2. So, after there, we kind of just started looking at other events, what we had. And, we had DJ in the 200. And actually, DJ used to do hurdles. He was all-state in hurdles last year. And, we can talk about that later. But, we moved him towards the end of the year to that 400. So, we kind of broke down, the whole points and, what we can get the most points in. And we ended up with, DJ going to that 400 because we got a freshman who was also top 3 in the 400 in the state. Mm-hmm. So we knew we could get a lot of points in that. Then we had Zacoby on in the 200 as well, and then Bernard, who's not here, he was in both relays, and then he ended up hurting his wrist, and he didn't get a run at sectionals. So that's when Trey had to step in on the 4x2 on that, and. Then with my jumper, MSHAA went from last year, he missed going to state by 1 centimeter in the long jump. I mean, he barely missed it. So, he came out this year and worked hard, and he increased by over half a meter. So, he got up to, his best was a 6.68 and jumped to 6.45 and got 3rd in state. And then another thing with Trey this year, he was just consistent. Like, high jump, you got to be consistent, because state in high jump is always, around 6'2"-ish. If you can, not get a lot of scratches, you're going to be top 8. Mm-hmm. And with him, he came down multiple times to his last scratch. And his last jump, if he didn't get it, he would have been in 9th place and got no points. Or if he did get it, he would have been in 4th place. And that's kind of where we had him seated at. The way we did that, like we set up a Google sheet. We tracked every team that had a chance to place top 4 in state, what they were seated at, what's like their best PR, and we kind of did the point system that way. And we knew what we needed to get. We told the kids what they needed to get, and they went out and done it.
Well, that's awesome. We got a chance to talk to some of your athletes you brought with you today, and so let's hear from them right now. I'm proud to get to sit down with some of the fastest runners and highest jumpers and longest jumpers in Class 2 in the state of Missouri. They're part of the Charleston boys track team that won the state championship. I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you.
I'm Trey Standback. I just completed my senior year, and I participated in high jump, triple jump, and I ran the 4x1 relay.
My name is DJ Williams. I just completed my senior year. I ran the 4x1, 4x2, the 200, and the 400.
My name is Kobe Young. I ran the 4x2, 4x1, and 200.
My name is Charleston Thomas. I did long jump, 110 hurdles, and high jump.
Well, congratulations, guys, on winning a state championship. It's pretty awesome. So, what's it feel like to be state champions?
Feel good.
Different.
Feel great.
Yeah, it's my first time being a state champion since the basketball boys got their first,
Right, right.
I was a part of both state championships.
I was going to ask that question.
Good
So,
feeling to me.
so it feels good to win 2 state championships in 2 different sports, huh?
Yeah, it's rare.
Tell me what that's like.
Undescribable feeling, if I'm being honest with you. It's like, it ain't too many of us did that, so that's a bragging right over most of my friends and stuff like that. And
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. What do you think?
Feel good to be a state champ.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys are not just state champs as a team, but you guys were state champs. Some of you were state champs in the relays. So it's kind of different than other sports in that you're really competing in individual events. I mean, some of you ran the relays, so you're competing as a team there, but you're running individual events, but then you're competing as a team. So how does that work? How do you kind of feel like part of a team when you're really running against other individuals?
You gotta push each other like to complete your tasks, like in all your individual events. Like with him, we had to keep telling him like he had to finish his race and stuff so we can like get more points as track meet went on. So like, you just really gotta like encourage your teammates and stuff.
And the better that they do, more points you get as a team that help you win whole track meet.
So have you guys run track? I mean, you're both senior, you both graduated. So have you guys run track like your whole school career? Or when did you start?
Started our sophomore year because freshman year got ended towards COVID.
Okay.
So
That's right. So, so you guys kind of had to step up as seniors. You know, you're kind of the leaders on the team.
Yes, sir.
How did you kind of step into that role this year?
you just had to push the younger guys because we got a lot of younger guys that's real good can be real good if they really worked at it. So you had to push them to work hard in practice so they can be fast and perform at the track meets with us so we can win.
What about you guys that are underclassmen? What did you see from these guys that kind of inspired you to work a little bit harder?
That we can win.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How so?
Frank always spent the whole season trying to compete with me to do better than him. And we always make bets at like meets to if I beat him or a PR, he'll let me get first place or something like that.
There you go.
Beat him.
You never beat him though, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know, but that was your challenge every single meet, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That you get out there and work harder. And sometimes that's what a leader does. He just challenges other people. You know, knock me off this pedestal if you can. And that makes people work even harder. So, well, you guys are all fast because you all run sprints or hurdles or, you know, you all are runners. Who's the fastest?
Me.
Oh, you guys in the back, either one of you say it's you?
It's really me, but
I'm probably more.
So okay. So why do you think you're the fastest?
I know I'm the fastest.
Why do you
because
know you're the fastest?
We had this speed program, right, where you can calculate our speed, and I was the fastest. Like I ran 22,
It was
27. He never even
was
ran
fake.
22 miles per
That
hour.
was fake.
Oh,
I was faster
okay,
than him.
okay.
He jumped on purpose in a 100 so he can race me.
Oh, so
I was
I beat
finna
him
beat
every
him.
race.
no, I just be in mistake.
You beat me at prelims.
I beat
You
him
beat me at
mistake.
finals.
well, see there.
I'm the fastest.
They was praying that I didn't get to run in that race that I jumped.
Why is it that you didn't get to run in any of the like the 100 or the 200? You only ran in the relays.
I was gonna run it for districts and stuff, but I had jumped the one time I got to run it, so I didn't have a time to
He was
run in
scared.
districts.
He was
I wasn't scared. I jumped. It was an accident. Accidents
So obviously, then when the relay comes around, you don't get to be the first guy, right?
no,
No. So who was the first guy?
he ain't hear it. Oh, it was him.
You were first.
Yep.
And so you get the start, you get the jump. So did you have the best start of anybody there on the team? Mm-hmm. And so who ran second?
He isn't here.
So second's a curve, right?
No, seconds is straight away.
Oh, okay. So you ran? Did you run a curve?
Yep. And 4x1.
Okay. So is that harder?
My first.
Because you're used to running the 2 also? Mm-hmm. Okay. So who ran third? You were third? And then they always put the fastest guy last, right?
Let me explain.
Okay.
I was last at first, but then I wanted to switch.
No,
Tell him
he
why.
got
Tell him
walked
why.
down.
Tell him. He ain't tell you why.
Yeah, tell her why. Tell her why.
Okay, it's this dude from Kenny, super fast. Chased me down, and I ain't want to race
Don't
with
bring
him
him
no more.
up. It's
I understand. But I understand they dropped the baton in prelims.
Yeah.
Is that right? That's my next question.
But I also was getting him a lead at last leg, so
I
he can
got you.
win.
I got you. So that's my next question. It happens, I saw a U.S. Olympic team one time drop a baton in prelims. I mean, they were the world record holders, and they dropped the baton, and they lost. They didn't even get to the finals. So how hard is that? Because you don't have very far where you can actually pass the baton from one to the next, and you got to hit it just right. You want to be going as fast as you can be going when you do that. You don't want to slow down. So how hard is that?
It's pretty hard, but we worked on it a lot. Like we handoffs, hammered it every day at practice, doing like 5 apiece every single day. So we got used to it. We probably could do it with our eyes closed now.
Yeah, it started to get easy. He ain't had to tell me to put my arm back. I just know when he's right there, and I just grab it and go.
It kind of becomes a timing thing.
Do you talk to each other? Do you hear each other? How do you do that? I know you watch to start with. You know where you like mark on the track where you're going to start your run.
Well,
and all
we
that
actually
stuff.
switched our steps to something different, so we didn't have to say go and stick no more. Like he just watch, and when I get like in a certain spot between his cones, he just take off running. I run up to him and I just hand it to him. It was a timing thing.
So what else do you guys do in practice? You say you practice handoffs, but what else do you do? Do you run? How do you get in shape and get ready to be the fastest relay team in the state?
We do our we don't really work hard. Like we work on our running form and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like our working out is like in handoffs we gotta go hard, make sure we do all that perfect and stuff. Like most of it we just work on our running form and stuff. It's not really like hard practice.
Really conditioning type practice.
Okay.
Yeah. Jumpers. If it's raining outside and we don't get to go jump, we'll have to be inside doing squats or vertimax, stuff like that.
Okay.
Be the worst days.
You'd much rather be outside jumping?
Yes.
I understand. So tell me about that. Tell me about jumping. We talked a lot about running, so tell me about jumping. What's that like as far as practice and?
For real, jumping is all about the timing and the
Okay.
power, how much power you put into a jump. Sometimes it's like if you get a bad start, you're gonna jump wrong or you just jump off the wrong foot. So you just always gotta make sure you start the same way. It's about being consistent too.
How many times does it take you to figure out this is exactly how far I need to start back to get it, to jump my best, to hit it as close to right on the board as I can? Do you do long jump, is that right?
Yeah, long jump.
So to jump as far as you can, you want to get as close to the end of that board as you can.
Yeah.
So how do you make sure that you hit that as close as possible?
I used to count the steps in my head until it came to me naturally, so I just run and jump, and then it just be perfect.
What are you looking at when you hit the board?
Well, according to Harlan, you always just look up, look down,
You don't look at the board, right?
and just look up and just jump.
Well, and if you know where you're going, you don't have to look at the board to know if you hit it sweet or not. So very cool. What about high jump?
High jump, just a whole lot of timing, power, flexibility.
It's a whole lot different than like long jump, because long jump is a lot about the momentum that you can pick up from running. You know, because you're going to keep that momentum. But high jump is not like that. High jump is almost like you're
Like a finesse type jump.
yeah, it really is.
You
So-
kind of like jumping and dodging the bar more. So it's like when you coming in, you got to stay light on your feet because you don't want to be too much power. You're going to jump out instead of up. So you got to like stay. It's like a bounce run. You on your toes. You jump up, get real high. Just try to not hit the bar. Best way to describe it.
You guys came down to the very end of the meet, and you knew nobody could beat you. You know, you knew that you had enough points to win, but there was a team that could tie you up. But they had to win their race. It was a relay. They had to win their relay. And what was it like watching them run that relay?
I wasn't
Heartbreaking.
even watching them.
You feel like we was running with them.
Yep.
You was just
Yeah.
nervous.
Stress level was
The
there.
last leg was crazy. Kick.
We was all, I hate to say this, we was praying on their downfall. Though. I ain't gonna lie. Definitely praying that they lost.
You'd have been okay if they dropped the baton or if something had happened
Yes.
or stumbled or anything.
Yes.
But you're still state champions. It doesn't matter. You know, I mean, and the cool thing about it was you knew you were going to be no matter what. You know, you knew you were the top team. If somebody else was even with you, that's okay. Proud of you guys. Good job. Congratulations. You all ought to be proud of what you did. You took 6 guys to the state track meet and won the whole thing. So that's pretty impressive. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, that was pretty entertaining. They definitely are one of the most talkative bunches that we've had interviewed, which is great. They were great to talk to, and it's pretty clear that they all have confidence in themselves and that they all could go out here and run against
Yes,
each other
they
right
do.
now.
Yeah.
And it'd be a pretty doggone good race.
It would
think.
be.
So you've got a lot of talented sprinters, jumpers on this team. But the thing that amazes me, and I've been to a couple of state track meets as a fan, because I've got some nieces, a couple of nieces that ran or that threw and jumped, and these guys ran a lot of races in 2 days. So tell us about that. Tell us about how many races some of these guys ran
It's really funny
between
you bring that
relays
up.
and their individual sprints.
There's a good story about that as well. We knew that they were going to have to run so many races. We've told them that they had to run that many races. And the prelim day, we get done and everyone qualifies. And that's what we needed. Like, we needed everyone to qualify. They did. It might not have been in the most perfect spot, but we got them through. I harped on sleep and nutrition and hydration and everything. And we get on the bus and the boys go, "Here's our phones, we're going to bed early."
Wow.
And they go, "Let's go eat." I go, "We're going to eat pasta." So we ate some pasta at Olive Garden, which is, watch that bunch at Olive Garden. It's pretty fun. And we get back, we set up an ice bath in the hotel bathroom. 2 of the guys took an ice bath. One of them tried to take an ice bath. Didn't work out very
Didn't
well.
make it long.
He got a frostbite. And then they were in bed by like 10:30.
Yeah.
And
You could probably tell the next day too, couldn't you?
they were firing off on all cylinders the next day. They did amazingly.
I mean, you think about it, DJ sprinted over a mile in 2 days with all his events. It
And
was over a
sprint
mile.
going as hard as he could go every time.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty impressive. I mean, it really is, because, you know, and the way that works is there's preliminaries qualifying on one day, and then the next day the finals, and basically you run your entire meet twice.
Yes, you run 2 meets twice.
I mean, you really do in 2 day period, and you never do that during the year. I mean, as far as just being, you know, competing that close, and even in practice, you're not going to run that much. You're not going to run that hard every time.
Yeah.
So, I just think it's impressive that they were able to
Well, that
put
goes-
together 2 days worth.
That goes with that leadership you were talking about earlier with those seniors. They said, "Hey, we're going to bed. We're going to go win this thing tomorrow." And it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool listening to them talk about what they were going to do the next day and then accomplish it.
That is pretty cool. So, what was there a specific time this year when you started thinking we really have a chance to win a state championship?
Well, in the middle of the season, like Aaron said, on Mobile, we were seeing our relays were number 1 in the state. And just our relays at the time. And I was like, okay, we got a good shot, like to have our relays win. And then as the year progressed, we noticed we threw Kamarian in the 400. And then all of a sudden he was number 1 in the 400 in the state. And we're like, okay. And then we threw DJ in there one day, and then he became number 1 in the state, and Kamarian was number 2, and then the Summit kid ended up passing him on Mobile rankings. And we're like, okay. And then since we threw DJ in the 400, we took him out of the 300 hurdles, put him in the 200, And then he was in the top 3 in the 200. And then Zakobian came out of nowhere, and he was in the top 8, I think, right, in the 200.
Yeah.
Aaron would tell me about the jumpers and how we're kind of sitting in the top 8 in state, and probably by districts, for sure.
Yeah.
We knew we had a good shot to get out and win state.
Yeah.
We have the capability of doing
Right.
it.
Right.
I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, we knew we were going to. We didn't know we were going to win state, but we knew we had the capability of doing that. But probably mid-season, we knew there was something special with this group and how they were running and jumping to get us all the way. So.
Yeah, we knew we can get between 45, 55 points at state, and usually that's going to win you state right there, and it happened.
Absolutely. So both your teams, your sprints, won the championship, won the state championship, finished first. The relay's got to be one of the hardest things. I mean, we talk about this being an individual event, but the sprints, are individual events. But when you put 4 guys together and you got to run all the way around the track, it changes the dynamic of what you're doing. So there are so many ways to mess up.
Yeah.
There's so many ways to slow down. There are so many ways to just get disqualified. So how do you make sure that team is ready when they step on that track to be as good as they can be all the way from the gun to the finish line?
Well, if you talk to any coaches around here and they look at me during a relay race, they know that there's plenty of opportunities to mess up because I look like I'm about to puke about every time we do everything. I didn't eat at state during the day. I couldn't. I'd throw up everywhere. But how we ingrained the importance of handoffs, because that's all it was. We have the speed. We do handoffs every single day. And it's hard. It's 2 coaches. We don't have a throws coach, so they kind of teach themselves. Sometimes I bring people in. I have other sprinters. They go work on blocks and stuff. He tells the distance guys to go do a distance workout. And then I take all the relays, boys and girls, and we work handoffs for probably about 20 minutes, as fast as we possibly can. I looked into a new type of handoff, like Trey was talking about, and basically it enabled us to, I think, get our time down by almost a second and a half in the 4x1 and 3 seconds in the 4x2.
Yeah.
I mean, and
That's huge.
And it is. It's really big, and they really bought into it, and they knew I was so serious about it that they're like, all right, we'll give it a shot, and they knew right off the bat if they weren't comfortable, they could have told me, and we would have, nope, not doing it. And then we did it at a meet, and I think we did it districts the first time we did
it was districts.
Yeah, and which is probably not the smartest thing on my part, but we worked it all week, so I was comfortable with it. They were comfortable. And once we started doing that handoff, we started separating ourselves big time. And like we got to state, and I told those guys, I go, just get the stick and we're going to win. That's all you have to do. Just get the stick and we're going to win.
We had a lot of separation between first and second in our relays.
And then in the 4x2, Bernard, if you ever saw the picture of him on the MSHAA site, he has a big old cast on. He's the only kid there running the cast. We put him back in the 4x2 at state. We were warming up the day before working on handoffs, and we have to figure out a way to do handoffs with him. He falls and skins himself up. I'm like, is your wrist okay? And he's like, yeah, everything else is scraped up. I go, well, are you good to run tomorrow? Do you want to run? He's like, you're not telling me I can't run tomorrow. I was like, okay. And so we had to figure out, all we had to do was just change some hands with him. And it's the 4x2 and you have a little bit more leeway. And so it allowed us to make up I guess it would be the fault of a wrong handoff. And Zakobian worked really hard on it, and they did a great job with it.
So the hand that was in the cast is the one he normally took the handoff
Yep.
in. Yeah. So that was a challenge.
Yeah, it was.
It's like teaching a guy to shoot left-handed.
Yeah.
You know, all of a sudden in the state championship game.
Yep.
So that's pretty impressive that they were able to make that work. So those are great stories. Exactly what those are the kind of things that have to happen though for you to be able to win a state championship.
Yep.
All right. So numbers guy, it came down to the last race. There's a 4x400 that you know that there's one team that even has a possibility of catching you guys and tying you up as state champions. Nobody can pass you, so you know you're state champs. So that's got to be a pretty good feeling to know you're state champs.
Yeah, I mean, so after the 200, we knew we were going to be first. They may have a chance to do it. We knew that pretty quick after because we already had all the numbers and we knew
On
what
our phones.
Yeah,
We were
we knew
refreshing
the
every
events
3
what were
seconds.
left, and we knew that Summit didn't run good the day before in their 4x4. That's not their best time. We knew their best time was right up there in the top 3. And we figured their real good kid, the Jones or Johnson kid, he'd run pretty much what DJ's run the last 2 days. So we figured he'd be tired, and he wasn't.
He wasn't.
He came out and ran a 47-second split on his last leg of the 4x4, and
He was determined,
yeah,
wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
He was. I mean, it was bittersweet. We still it's state championship, but we kind of want it for ourselves.
Well, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's they qualified. I think they qualified 5th. The day
Yeah,
after.
it was 5th in
So
prelims.
they weren't in the best lane. They were there were lots of things that could have gone wrong for them. But
Unfortunately, they got that. They got the extra motivation. Unfortunately, because their coach can go, "Hey, you guys go win this.
Yeah.
We're state champions with Charleston."
right, exactly.
And their kids are amped up.
That is, you're absolutely right. I mean, they knew the only way they were going to tie you was to win that race.
Yes.
And they ran their race and they won it. So congratulations to them as well.
Yeah, he earned that one.
Yeah.
The,
He did.
the unfortunate thing is that they only had one trophy there. And this happened in 2 different classifications this year where there were co-state champions. That doesn't happen in most sports. But since you're doing points, and it can happen in track, and so they had to make a decision as to who got to bring the trophy home. You're going to get one, but you didn't get to bring it home. How'd they decide how you got to who got to take the trophy home?
So me and the Summit coach went up to Lou. He's the MSHAA representative for track. He ran the state track meet, and he has his hand behind his back, and he asked me how old I am, and then asked the Summit coach how old he is, and the Summit coach was older. And he didn't look older. He might have lied. I don't know. And
Birth certificate.
he said odds or evens, and he said evens, and
So that left
Lou
you
brought out
odds.
a number 2, and
Yeah.
I was dejected for that one. But
Well, you got to bring 2 plaques home for state championships. You're going to get the state championship trophy. It's amazing. It's great for you guys. Congratulations on a really great season. So tell me, number one, what's it feel like as the coaches, this sense of accomplishment, I'm sure, but how's it feel to have taken this team up there and come home with the championship?
at the time, like Aaron said, we were a little dejected when we had the share. But me and my wife went on vacation because we could finally have time for ourselves after football and track and everything. And every day I was at vacation, I was just getting texts about the state championship and rings and signs and this and that. And I just kept smiling and smiling, and then it feels great now. It's the coolest thing we've ever done. We went up my first year as head coach, and we took 3rd in state. And that was an awesome accomplishment.
Absolutely.
And we couldn't have fathomed this is it. And Aaron is not going to be with me next year. He's the principal at our middle school.
Okay.
And we talked about it, and they go, "Hey, let's send you out on top." And we were always like kind of laughing about it. We sent it at the beginning of the year, and then the middle of the year, and then districts, and we're like, "This might actually happen. You might get sent out on top." And sure enough, so I'm extremely happy that he's been by my side for these last couple years, and and he got to share the accomplishment because he's a great assistant coach, and he's just an awesome guy. So.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on your new job.
Thank you.
So what does next year look like for you then, Coach?
Well, we lose Trey and DJ, and that's really hard. The majority of our relays come back. I have a kid in the high school right now that hopefully he'll be able to do track this year, but he's probably one of the fastest kids in the school, and he didn't even get to do track this year.
Shot back.
And we'll have Shy back. We'll have probably some other jumpers, and just what these guys have accomplished. I'm probably going to have about 60 kids out next year, and they're all going to want to do track and love track, and so it's just a great opportunity that we did this because it's really building this program up.
Well, and success breeds success.
Yes.
You know, those kids that might have been kind of on the fence about, do I want to do this? You know, now that you've won, they're like, that's pretty cool. I think I want to be a part of a championship type program.
Yeah.
So, very cool. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us, and thank you for joining us. It's been great to spend time with the 2023 Class 2 Boys State Track Champions, the Charleston Blue Jays.